Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, APC orders Rivers State Governor Fubara to resign within 48 hours or face impeachment. Former Kaduna State Governor El Rufai dumps APC, joins SDP. Israeli protesters call Netanyahu corrupt outside court hearing his case. And tracker shows tanker involved in coalition off UK northeast coast. Details in a moment.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was...
Why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
The federal government has extended the deadline for applications into the Federal Civil Service to March 17, 2025. Federal Civil Service Commission initially announced the recruitment exercise on January 27, 2025, offering over 70 positions across various ministries, departments, and agencies. However, many citizens lamented difficulties accessing the recruitment portal, prompting widespread calls for an extension. FCSC spokesperson Hassan Taiwo acknowledged that some applicants encountered technical issues, but maintained that others could register successfully. In an advertisement published in two national dailies on Monday, the Commission announced that the new deadline supersedes the previous one, which was initially set for March 10, 2025. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAM) says 2,030,627 candidates have registered for this year's Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME). The highest number of applications the board has received in its history of conducting UTME. The board said registration for the examination closed on March 8. In 2024, over 1.9 million candidates applied for the UTME. This is contained in the board's weekly bulletin in Abuja on Monday. JAM said that the number excludes the candidates who registered to sit for the examination at foreign centers. 200,115 candidates expressed interest in taking the optional mock UTME scheduled to hold on April 5, 2025. The Enugu State Governor, Peter Mbah, has challenged the Southeast Development Commission SCDC to aim at raising at least 1 trillion naira for its operations. Governor Mbah made a call at a grand reception organized for members of the commission in Enugu. Mbah noted that in view of the population of the region and the need to invest in critical infrastructure, the commission should explore all avenues to raise the needed fund to operate effectively.
Military heads of states, where we were advocating for a similar entity, and it did not happen. There's also been 5 democratically elected presidents. In fact, in the last one, it got to second reading, and some way the bill vanished, and there was no SCDC. But under 1 year of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, SCDC was passed into law. 1 week after that, he actually assented it into law, signed it very quickly, and about 4 months plus after that, he nominated its leadership. In fact, many of us who, while people were celebrating in the southeast, around the country, but those who understand how government works, they were laughing at us, said, the leadership is announced 2 weeks before the end of the year. You're going to be crying because you will not get any resources. There's no money in the budget. The budget was supposed to come a week after he announced the leadership. Mr. President delayed it for 2 days to ensure that the budget for SCDC was in the law.
The Managing Director of the Commission, Mark Okoye, outlined the Commission's goals, including working closely with state governors to boost the region's economy from $40 billion to $200 billion. Okoye emphasized the importance of collaboration and investment in critical sectors to drive economic transformation.
I'm very glad to hear today that the board and management has already defined a vision and has even started developing strategies on how to get there. I'm glad to hear that you have set a target of 200 billion. I think that's small, in my opinion. I think we should be looking at $1 trillion. And it's possible. If you look at the population of the Southeast, and you only compare it with the population of Netherlands and even Belgium put together, that's the population of Southeast. And go and check what the size of the economy of those countries are. And so there is no reason why we should restrict ourselves to 200 billion. We can actually aim for $1 trillion, and it's achievable. And then, of course, there are threats. There are existential threats, which we must acknowledge. And it is my hope that when you implement this your strategy, you're going to bear in mind some of these existential threats and also take it upon yourself to see how we can address them.
Chairman of Vacation and Traditional Ruler of Onitsha, Igwe Nemeka Achebe, said the establishment of a commission was critical to the development of the zone. Igwe Achebe charged members to do everything possible to ensure that the region feels its impact within a short period. Convener of the forum and businessman Arthur Eze praised President Bola Tinubu for his visionary leadership that gave birth to the commission, which he said was long overdue. He urged the commission to revamp the region's industrial infrastructure and pay serious attention to power, energy, manufacturing, and agriculture. The event was attended by dignitaries including 5 governors of Southeast states, members of the National and State Assembly, and other political leaders, as well as traditional rulers and captains of industry. The immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has resigned from the ruling All Progressives Congress and defected to the Social Democratic Party, SDP. In a statement he issued on Monday, El-Rufai expressed his disappointment with the APC's leadership style, accusing the leadership of the party of straying from the progressive ideals of its founding members. It is disclosed that he had expressed concerns both privately and publicly over the party's trajectory in the past 2 years, but found no willingness among the current leadership to address the issues. El-Rufai said he submitted his resignation letter to his ward in Kaduna North local government area of the Northwest State. He described the SDP as a platform for his future political engagements, even as he called on his supporters and other concerned Nigerians to join him in the SDP, emphasizing the need for a unified democratic platform to challenge the APC in future elections. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court of Nigeria has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by the embattled secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Samuel Anyanwu, challenging his sack from office. Anyanwu, in the appeal, is seeking to set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal Enugu, which upheld the Federal High Court judgment that removed him as the secretary of the party. In a 10-ground appeal filed through his counsel, Ken Nzamenza San, Anyanwu prayed the Apex Court to allow the appeal and overturn the decision of the lower court. Listed as respondents in the appeal are Aniago Emmanuel, PDP, Ilia Demago, National Chairman, and Ali Odefa, National Vice Chairman, Southeast Zone, PDP, as first to 4th respondents. In an appeal, Anyanwu challenged the decision of the Court of Appeal, Enugu Division, delivered on December 20, 2024, that affirmed the judgment of the High Court, which removed him from office as the PDP National Secretary and recognized Sunday Ude Okoye. The chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC in Rivers, Chief Tony Okocha, has called on Governor Similaye Fubara of Rivers State to resign within 48 hours of face impeachment. Okocha made a remark in a press briefing in Port Harcourt on Monday. He said the Supreme Court judgment is sacrosanct and should be obeyed to the letter. Okocha described the invitation by the governor to the assembly members led by Martin Samuel as very punitive. He said that Fubara was aware that the assembly would be sitting on March 10 before inviting them for a discussion on the Supreme Court judgment. Okocha stated that Fubara had no right to invite the assembly to come and discuss the Supreme Court judgment since it was meant to present the budget to them. According to him, the governor, Ab Initio, disregarded the 8-point agenda for peace by President Bola Tinubu, who was also the leader of the party. Commended the Speaker and the members of the House of Assembly for standing on the ground till date. The River State House of Assembly has issued a warrant for the chairman of the River State Independent Electoral Commission, RIPSEC, Justice Adolphus Enebele, retired, to appear before it. Martin Samuel-led Assembly issued the arrest warrant on Monday during plenary after the expiration of a 72-hour ultimatum for the electoral chief to appear before the House. Enebele had fixed August 9, 2025 to conduct a fresh local government poll in the state following a Supreme Court verdict that annulled the October 5, 2024 local government poll conducted in the state. Amawele-led Assembly had vowed to probe the conduct of Enebele regarding the conduct of the annulled local government poll last year. Supreme Court had also barred the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the Accountant General of the Federation, and other agencies from releasing funds to the government of Rivers State until it purges itself of what the court described as flagrant disobedience to court orders. In the judgment delivered by Justice Emmanuel Akomaye, the 5-man panel of the court had unanimously dismissed the cross-panel filed by Fubara challenging the validity of the House of Assembly presided over by Amehule as the Speaker. Dismissing Fubara's appeal, the court ordered Amawele to resume sitting immediately with other elected members of the River State House of Assembly. Joining us to discuss the current situation in River State is a public affairs analyst, Ugochukwu Ifeanyichukwu. Ugochukwu, what is the political atmosphere in River State?
Good evening, Nigerians, and good evening to the residents of Enugu State, the coast city and the golden state in Nigeria. As far as we are monitoring proceedings in Enugu State, we commend the governor for his strives in contending the insecurity and making Enugu State an AI state, if I may say so. Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening. Hello. Am I on?
Hello, Ugochukwu. Are you there?
Yes, am I on?
What is the political atmosphere in River State currently?
Yes, but can you hear me? Good evening. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Okay, hello, Ugochukwu, can you hear me? My question is, what is the current political atmosphere in River State?
I can hear you loud and clear. I want to be sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening. I salute the people of Enugu State and the governor of Enugu State in the giant strides he's making about contending the security situation in Enugu State, as we refer to Enugu today as the AI state. Coming back to River State, the call for the impeachment of the governor by Chief Satomi Okocha, the nationally recognized APC chairman of River State. Of course, we should understand that River State APC have two chairmen in the person of Emeka Beke, whom the State High Court recognized, and Chief Tony Okocha, who is recognized by the national of APC. So calling for the impeachment of the governor is his personal opinion, given the political tension in the state. And Chief Tony Okocha, who is also the political bulldozer and an interested party in the impasse that is going on between the Rivers State House Assembly led by Speaker Martin Samehule and the Governor Siminalayi Fubara, as the case may be. Today, he called for the impeachment of the governor, and he gave his reasons. The governor, to my own understanding, who has followed the political nuances in Rivers State from the onset, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has committed impeachable infractions. There is no mincing words about it. Right from the time Mr. President called for a political solution, the governor came back and decided to toe the line of Gowon after the Aburi Accord. The governor came and listened to dissenting opinions in the state, and he became a political orphan, so to say, because those people around him cannot even
Hello, Gochuku. Can you hear me?
As those who can win local government elections in Rivers now. Yes, I'm with you. The
Yes,
governor of Rivers
at the
State,
point we had issues with the network. That's why I was drawing your attention. So you can please go ahead.
Okay. So the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, if Tony Okocha has called his impeachment, he has committed impeachable infractions, as the case may be, running a state without appropriation bill. And do not forget that despite the fact that the Supreme Court just decided on the case, the case recognizing Martin Samehule and the prayers of Martin Samehule and his brothers to the temple of Justice James Omotosho was delivered on the 22nd of January, 2024. It was a judgment, and that judgment stood. The governor appealed to the appeal court and lost at the appeal court. 2 judgments went against him. Then the governor could not represent the budget. Remember that the budget was signed in January, and within the tail end of January 2024, the governor was directed to go and represent the budget, as also contained in the political solution that Mr. President midwifed. But the governor flagrantly disobeyed. And having disobeyed, at the end of the day, the Supreme Court gave her judgment, and the judgment of the Supreme Court is binding, as Tony Okocha said today. It is simply go and present the budget. It simply go and work with the Martin Samehule led House of Assembly. The Martin Samehule led House of Assembly, in their magnanimity, invited the governor to come and present the budget, knowing that there's also a banana peel attached to the obedience to the Supreme Court judgment, that allocation will be withheld pending when the governor obeys, because the Supreme Court have known the governor as a perennial governor who disobeys court judgments. That is why they have to use that as a litmus test for him. And they haven't given him that particular litmus test. He has already failed again. The governor has failed. And as the governor has failed again, calling for his impeachment, it is not out of place. He has failed to honor the Supreme Court recognized House of Assembly. He has failed to go and present the budget. But again, you recall that the governor shot himself on the foot. Shooting himself on the foot, the governor said he was waiting for the CTC court judgment copy, the original of it. But my brother, what happened? The governor went ahead, and asked the River State local government chairman to vacate the offices, and asked the head of departments of the local governments to take over governance across the local government. So the governor is playing double standards. That's the truth. If you wanted to wait for the copy of the Supreme Court judgment, you are waited before implementation of any part of that Supreme Court judgment. But the governor went ahead and implemented the one concerning the local government chairman, while disobeying the one the Supreme Court asked him to go and work with the assembly members. So how can you be running a state for 2 fiscal years without a budget? It is an impeachable offense, which is known to all and sundry. So I think the call of Tony Okocha is not out of place, if you ask me.
Well, Ugochukwu, just to put some things in perspective, there was the denial that the 27 members led by Amaewhule did not defect. If they did not defect, how come Tony is now giving an ultimatum, you resign or be impeached?
Tony Okocha, do not forget that Tony Okocha is an opposition party chairman. Tony Okocha is only looking for
Tony Okocha, who is an opposition chairman, received the 27 members when they defected from PDP to APC.
No. Let us not mislead Nigerians. You see, this is a national television, and Tony Okocha has said that he invited them on friendship ground for the Thanksgiving service he held. So all those ones have been overtaken by events because the Supreme Court has concluded on this matter. Remember that the same appeal court said that the governor erred when he started the litigation about defection from the state high court. Even myself, seated here, who is not a legal luminary, with the primary knowledge of law, I know that any case concerning the State House of Assembly and the governor should have gone to the Federal High Court, because the Nigerian Constitution was not insane when they had that in mind and roped it inside the Constitution. Because if a case concerning the governor is taken to the High Court, the governor has the upper hand because he who plays the piper dictates the tune. So the Nigerian Constitution, 1999, as amended, in her wisdom, foresaw what was going to happen, and they put it in proper perspective. And the governor knew this. He was only buying time, playing to the gallery. The governor and his handlers, who claimed to be the Attorney General and the Commissioner of Justice of a state, went to the State High Court to file a case concerning the governor and the State House Assembly. While you know that primarily INEC conducts the election that brings in the governor and the House of Assembly members on board. It is not the state regs. This is a common knowledge. So the governor thought that ex parte orders and interlocutory injunctions will save him at the end of the day. But when the case got to the appeal court said, yes, you have a beautiful case that you're pursuing, but the court has no jurisdiction to entertain the matter in the first instance. That means, from ab initio, the case was dead on arrival. It is now that they started the case from a federal high court, but now, as we speak, the Supreme Court has also made a pointer towards that particular case, asking the assembly members, 27 of them, led by Martin Amaewhule, to go back and also accommodate their brothers, which was the other faction led by Oko Jumbo, Sakari Goodboy Sakare, and one other person. The Supreme Court acknowledged them that Martin Amaewhule, go back and carry your brothers along and form a unified River State House of Assembly, irrespective of whose ox is God. So, and even if this particular defection case gets to the Supreme Court, I know, cannot reverse itself. They have already made a pronouncement linking to that court, that particular case pending at the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, which is bordering on defection or no defection. Until that case goes to the Supreme Court, what we know today is that going by the pronouncement of Justice James Omotosho, going by the affirmation by the appeal court, the Supreme Court of Federal Republic of Nigeria only affirmed what the lower court and the middle appeals court upheld, and asked the governor, go and present the budget. You have no powers to determine where the assembly members will sit. You have no right to touch their salaries and the other entitlements. And you have to, recognize them and work with them as the Rivers State House of Assembly. I think that is where the case, I don't know if you have read the CTC judgment. That is the position of the Supreme Court. So I cannot be on a national television and be having a back and forth whether they defected or they did not defect. It's either sub judice, because the case is lying before the Federal High Court in Rivers State. And again, the Supreme Court had already adjudicated on it and asked them to go and work in unison. So I think that's where I will leave the matter concerning defection or no defection, because it is, after all, Governor Simeon Fubara is a product of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court affirmed him after he won the election. People litigated against him. And at the end of the day, he also waited until the Supreme Court adjudicated, and he accepted it. What is happening in Rivers State is Nigerians, we are so good in bias, in sentiments, and the enemy of my enemy is now my brother. And I asked the question in Rivers State, where was all these dissenting voices now when Nyesom Wike single-handedly identified Fubara to mount the saddle in Rivers State of governance? All those people now who are saying Fubara is the Messiah, is the Moses of our time and the David of our time, where were they? Most of them opposed, even the SSG. I can tell you on a good authority that the Dana Gogo, who is the SSG in Rivers State, opposed the emergence of Simeon Fubara because he had an interest to become a governor. So when Nyesom Wike was able to share the power according to how their political leaning is, he got the position of the SSG. So what you see happening, all those people running around Fubara, is they know that when the masquerade is around, they can't benefit nothing from the governance of Simeon Fubara, as the case may be.
Thank you very much, Ugo Chukwu Ifeanyi Chukwu, for coming on to Signature TV News and giving us that insight. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And before I leave you, the governor of Rivers State, who invited the 27 lawmakers, to Rivers State Government House, the issue is a burning one. They invited the governor officially to come and present the budget so that Rivers civil servants will be paid, because everybody is seeing the House of Assembly members now as the monster, as a wheel in the clog of the progress of Rivers State. But it's not. Going by the pronouncement of the Supreme Court, go and represent the budget and your allocation will be released. And the governor is Dick Darling, who is now to be blamed in this impasse. Is the governor who would have cashed in on the opportunity to go and present the budget, but now he's now calling them to now talk about what? The sitting arrangement, paying of their salaries and the monuments, and also the sitting arrangement, which the court has barred him, that the governor has no right to, cite where the assembly members will sit and have their deliberations. It is well within their purview to choose wherever they sit, wherever the mess and the governor and the speaker is. That's assembly. And again, in the Catholic Church, we say wherever the priest is, that's the church. So the governor has ample time. They gave him 48 hours, he didn't appear. They extended it to 72 hours, he didn't appear. Then the House today resolved that and issued a warrant arrest against the RISEC chairman, Justice Adolphus Enebeli, because they have been operating on infractions and impunity. They conducted elections. Who gave approval to the appropriation bill that Rivers State Electoral Commission used in conducting the elections? And today, going by the Supreme Court ruling, the Assembly said, come and tell us who approved that particular money. And these are the infractions that the government is committing. It is not only an Enebeli, because Enebeli act on his own. He's acting on the instruction of the governor.
Ugochukwu.
I'm with you.
I want to say thank you very much.
I'm with you.
For coming on Signature TV News. We move on to the next story now. What appeared to be a reprisal following the killing of your leader, Maigemo, by a combined security force in Kebbi, suspected Lakurawa terrorists on Sunday attacked Birnin-Dede village, killing 13 people. According to a source, the assailants also set at least 8 villages on fire near Birnin-Dede, all within the Arewa local government area of Kebbi State. The source explained that the attack was carried out in retaliation for the killing of Lakurawa leader by security forces. He added that the attackers spared only one village, which was guarded by the army. The chairman of Arewa local government, Sani Aliyu, confirmed the attack. Recall that combined security forces with support of Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris recently killed the group's kingpin, Maigemo, as part of ongoing efforts to curb the activities of armed groups in the northwest states. Spokesperson for the Kebbi State Police Command, SP Nafiu Abubakar, did not respond to calls or text messages seeking further details on the incident. The Nigerian Air Force has emphasized its unwavering commitment to professionalism and transparency in all operations, adhering to international standards. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, made the emphasis while on a sympathy visit to the government and people of Zamfara State over the recent airstrike mishap in Maradum and Zumi local government areas of the state.
The 11th January 2025 military airstrike, which reportedly resulted in some collateral damage in Maradun and Zumi local government areas of Zamfara State, prompted the Nigerian Air Force to immediately constitute an investigative panel on the incident, which, among other things, visited the affected communities. This is the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, on a courtesy visit to the Governor Dawda Lawal at Government House, Gusau, sympathizing with the government and the people of Zamfara over the tragedy, which has been eventually confirmed by the investigative panel. Air Marshal Abubakar, who emphasized the unwavering commitment of the Nigerian Air Force to professionalism and transparency in all operations, said the additional measures have been taken to guard against reoccurrence of the regrettable incident.
The fact-finding team has since submitted their reports and findings, which confirm that indeed 11 members of the local vigilante were unintentionally killed and 11 others sustained injuries ranging from fracture to minor shrapnel wounds. The need to make amends, therefore, became expedient. So our visit to you this morning, Your Excellency, is predicated on the foregoing, which is to commiserate with you, the victims, their families, and the good people of Zamfara State over the unfortunate incident of 11th January. As you are aware, Your Excellency, Nigerian Air Force remains committed to safeguarding the lives and property of all Nigerians. Our operations are always conducted with the utmost care and precision. I must unequivocally state that this incident is a painful departure for our commitment to protecting the very citizens that we serve. We sincerely acknowledge the grief and pains this has caused to the families and the entire community, and we do not take this lightly. Your Excellency, I deeply appreciate your leadership and the cooperation of the state government in managing this difficult situation. We recognize the critical role of the state and community leaders in ensuring peace and stability, and we remain committed to working closely with you to strengthen security and maintain harmony within the state.
The Nigerian Air Force also unveiled some consolation to the affected communities.
As a way of ameliorating the sufferings and pains caused by the airstrikes, we have earmarked a token for the families of the victims of the accidental airstrike. We shall also repair the damaged part of the mosque and replace the 2 motorcycles damaged in the airstrike. Furthermore, I have directed that the Nigerian Air Force Director of Services will provide a solar-powered borehole at Kambara village to serve the immediate community as well as other neighboring villages. While these efforts may not bring back what has been lost, we believe it is indicative of our resolve to make amends and bring the matter to a close.
Governor Dauda Lawal, who appreciated the Chief of the Air Staff for the concern, expressed confidence that with the renewed commitment of the military, Zamfara State will continue to achieve a lasting peace.
Honestly, we appreciate this response and this kind of relationship between Zamfara State government, the Air Force, and the entire security forces in this country. We are very clear in terms of our stand about banditry, and we made it known to everyone that we are not negotiating with bandits, and we still stand on that. And I believe the security forces of this country, they have the capacity to deal with this element. As we have seen, they demonstrated that. It's an ongoing process, and I can confirm to you that peace is returning to Zamfara State.
During the visit, Governor Lawal presented to the Chief of Air Staff a certificate of occupancy of a land, which Zamfara State government allocated to the Nigerian Air Force for establishment of its additional base in the state. Meanwhile, Air Marshal Abubakar and his host later interacted with families of the slain victims as well as the survivors of Verona's airstrike behind closed doors. From Brini Kebbi, Excellence Benjamin, reporting for Signature TV.
Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET has predicted sunshine and haziness from Monday to Wednesday across the country. NIMET's weather outlook released on Sunday in Abuja forecast sunny and hazy skies over the northern region throughout the period. According to NIMET, in the north central region, sunny skies with patches of clouds are expected during the morning hours. In the southern region, NIMET anticipated cloudy skies with spells of sunshine during the morning hours, with localized thunderstorms likely over parts of Lagos, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom. For Tuesday, NIMET forecasts sunny skies over the northern region throughout the period, with sunny skies and patches of clouds expected in the north central region as well. On Wednesday, NIMET predicted sunny skies over the northern region. In the southern region, NIMET forecast cloudy skies with spells of sunshine in the morning, with localized thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening over parts of Ogun, Ondo, Edo, Imo, Delta, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Bayelsa states. NIMET advised the public to take adequate precautions as strong winds might precede the rains in areas where thunderstorms are likely. Still to come, chaos outside Chinese embassy in Delhi as exiled Tibetans protest over cultural genocide. South Korea's Air Force chief apologizes over misfire accident. These and more after the break.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was
Why the main market is in chaos. People are
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
we have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
U.S. immigration agents arrested a Palestinian graduate student who has played a prominent role in pro-Palestinian protests at New York's Columbia University as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's promised crackdown on some anti-Israel activists. Mahmoud Khalil, a student at the University's School of International and Public Affairs, was arrested by U.S. Department of Homeland Security agents at his university residence on Saturday evening, Student Workers Columbia Labor Union said in a statement. His wife is a U.S. citizen, 8 months pregnant, according to news reports, and he holds a U.S. permanent residency green card, the union said. His arrest was condemned by civil rights groups as an attack on protected political speech. Khalil said it was concerned that it was being targeted by the government for speaking to the media.
Including the National Guard will be brought into the university. Yes, so yesterday we had a very long session with the university negotiators. We spent 11 hours in the negotiation room. Today we spent about an hour as well. Clearly there are, as Sweda mentioned, we are at a stage where kind of an impasse. The university is not acknowledging the movement and the extent of the movement, and what they're willing to offer is mostly just the statements, processes, and again, our movement here, when they tried to clear it last week, we prevailed. If they want to once again bring NYPD or any law enforcement, we will prevail. Our movement is not only this encampment, it was not that encampment. Our movement is very, very large, and we will have our own ways in order to make sure that our voices are heard.
Greenlanders are set to vote in a general election on Tuesday that is gaining increased attention amid renewed interest from U.S. President Donald Trump in acquiring the territory. Trump reiterated his interest in acquiring Greenland, a vast mineral-rich Arctic island, during his address to Congress last week, and reaffirmed his interest early on Monday in a post on Truth Social. Denmark's ties with Greenland have been strained following revelations of colonial mistreatment of Greenlanders. Trump's interest in the island, however, has spurred Denmark to hasten efforts to mend its relationship with Greenland. Vivian Motzfeldt, vice chair of the Simult Party, which is the government coalition partner, also highlighted the election's significance. Prime Minister Mot Egede has repeatedly asserted that Greenland, home to a population of just 57,000, should decide its own future, advocating full independence for the territory. A candidate from its Inuit Ataqatigiit party noted that a recent development had turned everything upside down. Polls will open at 11 a.m. local time on Tuesday, with results anticipated in the early hours of Wednesday.
Vi nogensinde har fået, eller vi kommer til at stemme her. Også fordi der er så meget fokus på Grønland lige i øjeblikket over hele verden.
Attention now, growing attention from the world, I mean from Trump's statements and the pressure also a little bit towards the Danish state and so on. The independence question has popped up again as a major theme in the election campaign.
Very important, especially today, that our geopolitical situation here in Greenland and what happens in the United States, according to what the new elected president announced, that he wants to own Greenland, is demanding that we choose people who can cooperate, because we don't want to be part of the United States at this way.
Well, we want independence from our party, but we also want prosperity and security and safety for our country. And we can see the angle from the other parties is that we have nobody to work with in case of the independence. They're trying to sow mistrust.
It's very important because of the crisis between Greenland, Denmark and the United States, and the United States and the world. Everything has been turned upside down. and we don't know what United States is, what they can do to us Greenlanders. So we have to negotiate with Denmark to what is the future for Greenland.
Germany's Greens vowed to block plans by likely next Chancellor Friedrich Merz for a massive increase in state borrowing, but left room for compromise on Monday on measures to revamp the military and revive growth in Europe's biggest economy. The Greens' refusal to back sweeping reforms to debt rules and a special $540 billion infrastructure fund could derail a spending bonanza that excited markets last week. The party will put forward its own proposals and hold talks with Merz conservatives and its potential coalition partners, the Social Democrats SPD, later on Monday. At stake is Germany's ability to unshackle borrowing limits to spur growth and support struggling industries after 2 years of economic contraction. Merz has also stressed the urgency to increase defense spending, but he and SPD under leader Lars Kimberley need support from the Greens to pass the measures in the outgoing parliament. Another co-leader, Katrina Drogic, said the Greens would urge its lawmakers not to vote for Merz's proposals, saying they would only back measures that include genuine support for climate policies. And the economy. Pope Francis has taken to hospital on Friday morning for tests and to continue treatment of his ongoing bronchitis, the Vatican said. Later occasion, 88-year-old pontiff has suffered a health problem. Francis has been Pope since 2013 and has suffered from influenza and other health problems several times over the past 2 years. Earlier this month, Francis told pilgrims at a weekly audience that he was suffering from a strong cold, which the Vatican later described as bronchitis. The Pope has been keeping up his daily schedule of appointments despite his illness, taking meetings at the Vatican residence where he lives. Before going to hospital on Friday, he had an official meeting with Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico. Britain's Coast Guard is responding to reports of a coalition between a tanker and cargo vessel of England's northeastern coast, the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency said on Monday. An SLEG tracker showed the two vessels involved in the incident off near the Amber Estuary and the coast of East Yorkshire, namely US-flagged chemical tanker Stena Immaculate and Portuguese-flagged container ship Solong. The BBC reported that the oil tanker involved in the collision was on fire. The United Nations Shipping Agency, the International Maritime Organization, is aware of the situation and is checking further, it said. Maritime analytics website Marine Traffic showed a number of vessels, including container ships and oil tankers in the area of the North Sea where the collision occurred. US President Donald Trump's tariff on aluminium and steel imports come into force on Wednesday, despite a reprieve on tariffs for other imports. On February 9, Trump said he was going to put tariffs on imports of all steel and aluminium used by automakers, aerospace companies, and in construction infrastructure. The US is the world's largest aluminium importer and the second largest steel importer, with more than half of those volumes coming from Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. Trump said on March 6 that the metals tariff will not be modified, despite suspending tariffs on most goods from Canada and Mexico. Price premiums for aluminium on the physical market in the United States surged to a record high last week due to the looming threat of tariffs on the metal, which is used in transport, construction, and packaging industries.
And regarding the U.S. the tariffs on Hong Kong, I think this is absolutely inconsistent with the WTO the rules. Of course, and also they have to totally disregard that Hong Kong is a separate customs territory, and we have and we will file a complaint with the WTO regarding this unreasonable arrangement.
China will continue to grow bilateral relations with Canada on the basis of mutual respect and equality. Foreign Ministry said on Monday after Mark Carney won the race to lead Canada's ruling party and become the next Prime Minister.
We've taken note of the report congratulating Mr. Mark Carney being elected as Canada's next Prime Minister. As for China-Canada relations, China has always advocated the development of bilateral relations on the basis of mutual respect, equality, and mutual cooperation. We look forward to Canada objectively and rationally adhering to an objective and rational perception towards China, pursuing an active and pragmatic policy towards China, and working with China to promote the improvement and development of China-Canada relations.
That's the news this hour. I am Barry Kumado. Thank you very much for joining us.